guess what we're going to do with this? Stay tuned, be right back. Welcome back to my vegan kitchen. Today we are going to be making fermented sauerkraut. Now the reason why we're going to make fermented sauerkraut is because it is so good for you and it tastes awesome. Eating fermented foods, they help with anxiety and depression, they help with good gut health, they help with your immune system. I mean, the list goes on and on why you should be eating fermented foods. They're full of probiotics, vitamin Bs, enzymes, antioxidants, and they're just all around awesome for your body. So let's get started. I'm gonna take you down. Let's do some fermented sauerkraut. Be right back. Okay, the first thing you start out with when you're gonna make fermented sauerkraut is you're gonna need a head of cabbage. And so when you get that head of cabbage, we're gonna go ahead and remove the old leaves off. Anything that's got brown on it or whatever, all the ones that aren't good. And then just set them aside because we'll use some of that a little bit later. So like here, you kind of got like some rough patches. Just go ahead and remove that. And get down to the good head of cabbage. So once you're down there to the good head of cabbage, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut this up. And we'll cut this up into, well, let's see. So we'll cut it in half. And we'll quarter it again. And then I'm going to quarter it one more time. Set these off to the side here for a minute. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove the core. So just go ahead and just cut the core out. We don't need that. Set that aside. And the core, as you can see, is right here. So let's make a little cut on this side. And we'll make a little cut over here on this side. And let's take it right out. Once you have the core taken out and your cabbage cut up, the next thing we're going to want to do is, if you don't have any other machinery at home that you can use to do this, what we do is we just start taking our cabbage and we just start finely cutting it up. Like that. And that'll be our sauerkraut. So just finely cutting it up, finely slicing it down. Now me, I've got a new little toy over here that I'm going to give a try and see if it's worth using to do this. Okay, so if you have like a food processor or anything else that you want to try to use to cut up your cabbage to make it go a little bit faster, go for it. Otherwise, if you don't have anything, it's still just simple to use a knife. But I'm going to go ahead and try this. I got this. And I'm going to see what kind of a job it does in slicing up the cabbage. My cabbage, I'm going to stick it in the top here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and chop up the rest of this cabbage, and then I'll be right back and show you the finished product, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm back. I have all my cabbage all chopped up, ready to make some sauerkraut. And I've divided it into 2 bowls. Now, they do say not to use metal bowls. True or not, I have no idea, so I always just use plastic. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add sea salt to these. Now, there are precise measurements that you can find online, but I usually go at about 2 tablespoons of sea salt. for about 3 pounds of cabbage. Now, since I've divided them between 2 bowls, I'm going to go ahead, and this is a 2 tablespoon holder right here. So I'm going to put about half in here. And I'll put the other half over here. And then you're just going to want to go ahead and start getting dirty and start playing with this. You're going to want to go ahead and start squeezing the cabbage. And you're going to want to start squeezing the water out of it. And that salt is going to help draw the water out of the cabbage. And just keep squeezing it. It'll take you probably about 10 minutes. Just want to keep squeezing it all down, squeezing. Eventually you'll start developing a liquid in the bottom. I'm already feeling it getting extremely moist. We're going to reduce the size. As you can see already, the size is reducing again. And the salt is drawing out all the water out of the cabbage, which is what we want, because that's what our cabbage is going to ferment in. See how water already starting to form in there? This takes a little bit, but it's kind of therapeutic also. Okay, that one took me up about like 5 minutes to do it. Now you can see all the liquid that has come out of the cabbage. And that's exactly what you want. Okay, that one's good. So I'll go ahead and I'll start on the next bowl. Okay, there is our second bowl all finished up. We got all the liquid squeezed out of it for the most part. Now it's time to go ahead and fill up our canning jars. And I'll show you how to do that. So I don't make a huge mess, I'm going to use a funnel. We're just going to go ahead and start taking our cabbage and putting it in our jar. Now, it doesn't take very long to do this. It only took me like 10 minutes total. Okay, and then you want to use the wide mouth canning jars. And the reason for that is that way you can go ahead and stick your hand in there and smash it down, or if you have something else to use to smash it down. Smash it all down really well, get all the air out of there. That's the important thing too, is to make sure you get all the air out of it. Okay, for our next one, just keep adding until it's full. Well, actually not full, we want to keep it about 1 inch from the top. Just put some in there and smash it down again. All that air out of there. Okay, that looks almost about where we want to be. Okay, remember I said save your leaves. We'll be able to use part of it for later. So I have a leaf here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear a piece off big enough to cover the top of the inside of the jar. And what this is going to help do is help keep your cabbage submerged underneath the liquid, so that way you don't have to worry about it molding. And then I also use one of these glass pucks where I just drop it on top, make a mess out of everything. And you want to leave about 1 inch at the top space, because that is going to bring out more liquid as this continues to ferment. And it will kind of make a little bit of a mess on your counter, so you want to put something underneath it to catch anything that bubbles over. Okay, so once you have that, so I've got my cabbage stuffed in there, I've got all the air I believe pushed out of there, I have it all packed down, I have a little cabbage sleeve on top of there to hold the cabbage down, and then I put in a little glass puck. Now if you don't have that, that's fine. You could instead use a piece of the core, put it on top of the cabbage leaf, and then put it in there. And then one of two ways you can do this. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but one of the ways that you can do this is you can use just a regular mason jar top and just go ahead and screw it on there. Now don't do it tight, just screw it on there so it's loose, that way the gases can escape. And then you want to come back every like 2 days or so, make sure you kind of just take it back off and burp it, and then put it back on. Or another way, which is the way that I use, is I have one of these fermentation lids, fermentation caps. And all I do is I screw that on there. There's a little hole in the top here that releases the gases from the fermentation out of it, but doesn't allow oxygen to get back inside of it. And I just usually put that on there. I don't put it on there very tight, I just put it on there like that, and that's it. Now you're going to go ahead and you're going to want to let this set for 7 to 14 days. If you want to try it after 3 to see what you think, go ahead and try it. But it's usually going to take about 7 to 14 days, or actually you can actually ferment for as long as you want to. After it's done fermenting, go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. Put your regular masonry lid on there, mason jar lid on there. Put it in the refrigerator and it will last you a long, long time. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and put this in a dark, warm area. We want to keep it between 68 and 78 degrees, somewhere in there is a great fermenting temperature. And we want to keep it in a dark area. So if you don't have a dark area, just go ahead and maybe wrap a cloth around it or a towel around it and set it on your counter. So that pretty much takes care of how to make fermented sauerkraut. Be right back. So there you go, guys. Fermented sauerkraut. Must try. Super delicious. Super healthy for you. So give it a try. If you do, leave me a comment down below. Also, if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Hey, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That'll help remind you every time that I release a new video. Also, in the info section down below, I will leave the recipe and I will leave a link to both of the products that I use in this video, the fermentation cap and the little glass hockey puck to put on top. So until I see y'all again, I want to thank you for watching. Happy fermenting. Later.